on my way to work. In my neighborhood, I don't turn on cruise or autopilot. Until I get out of my development. Could turn on cruise here. I'll set to 33. Slows down on turns, and then it'll speed up again. Once we leave the development, we'll be able to turn on autopilot, turn off cruise, let the regeneration slow me down, touch the brake just a little, and we can go. So here we'll turn on cruise control and autopilot, and we'll increase the speed to 40. Big turn here. A little wobbly on that turn. Comes a bus. There's no right road indicator here, line. I'm going to slow down because there's a pretty bad turn coming up here. And we'll see if it can take it. Be ready to grab the wheel here. And it was able to do it. At a little faster speed there, it's a little dangerous. Because that turn is pretty sharp. So autopilot seems to have some issues in pretty sharp turns at higher speeds. A little off course there. Adapted. I'm going to turn off everything. Regeneration slows us down. I have noticed that when it's cold out, the regeneration doesn't regenerate as much. Okay, back into a nicely lined road. Turn on autopilot, set to 40, 5 over the speed limit. This road was recently resurfaced with new line markings, road lines, and so we can do this road pretty nicely. Over the hill here, it wobbles sometimes and then catches itself. And again, coming up to a intersection, there's no cars, so we're going to turn off the cruise control, let the regeneration generate some power. I'll have to touch the brake just a little. No cars coming. Now this road is an older road and not well line marked, but it does allow me to turn on. Well, the autopilot came on and off. Now it's on. Oops, still won't let it. Now it's on. You can see this road is not well marked, and so it's going to have some trouble on this road. I just took over control there. Here it's a little better marked, so it should come back on. We'll try it here. Again, going over crescents, it's a little tough. It just went over the line. Let's try it here. I'm going to just drive here because this road just isn't, it's just an older road. Lines aren't clearly marked, and it's just not meant for this type of road. can see here how bad the lines are covered up with patches on the road. So you'll see the line markings. It doesn't identify the lines clearly. And after this intersection down here, now here I have 40 mile an hour cruise control set. The car will slow down and stop here by itself. Once we get onto this road, we should be good, I think. Let's see if cruise control or autopilot works here. Pretty good. There's a bridge here that is pretty tricky, but it usually handles this pretty well. There it goes. Oh, it did that all by itself. I grabbed the wheel, but it didn't. I mean, I had my hand on the wheel, but it made the turn nice and smoothly. Another turn coming up here. I took over. It was going a little too fast. I needed to set the speed limit. On turns, on local roads like this, you really can't push the speed limit because I don't think it can react fast enough. So my recommendation is to go the speed limit or maybe even below it if you want to use autopilot on local roads with sharp turns. I have seen, now this will be interesting because the line markings go to the right here, and it did go to the right by itself, and it did slow down all by itself there. So we have autopilot on, and we should be able to get through this intersection pretty nicely. It may start tracking. You can see the blue car. I believe when it highlights a car to be blue, it's using that car for tracking, and follows the car, or combines the use and position of that car with line markings. Now it just asked me to grab the steering wheel, so I just touched it a little bit. We have to make a right here, so I have to turn off the autopilot. And the cruise control stays on. It's slowing down because of the car in front of me. I can actually leave the cruise control on here through the turn. It's a little jerky when you do that, but you don't have to hit the pedal. Again, cruise control's on, so the car's going to slow down by itself. Approaching stop signs and red lights, as long as there's a car in front of you, the car can do all of the acceleration and deceleration by itself. Now, once I come to, you'll see here, I'm going to have to hit the brake to turn off the cruise control, because it would have just continued to drive following the car. Not following the car, but not having a car in front of me, it would start accelerating by itself. Now here we finally get to a highway, and from almost here on out for the next half hour, we're going to be able to use autopilot the whole way. So we're going to get on the highway first. Once we get on, we can turn on cruise control. Other interesting thing that it seems to do is it remembers what cruise speed you had on particular roads. So I didn't have to set 65 there. I just turned on cruise control. I believe it's remembering the cruise control speed for the road that you've been on before. We'll see that when we get on our next highway. I usually set that to 75, and we'll see if it automatically sets the speed to 75. Here we're behind a truck, and so we're going to change lanes just by hitting my blinker. Car changed lanes by itself, and I accidentally hit there's two levers here. This is your speed control. This adjusts the distance from how many cars in front or behind you want to be, and then so a lot of times when I go to hit the blinker, I grab the cruise autopilot stick, cruise control stick, instead of the turn signal stick. So we're in autopilot. This is a lot of the highway. This is the first highway I drive. We're going to increase it because we have some cars coming up behind us to 70. On the highways, you can set your cruise speed in autopilot mode to any speed that you'd like. On local roads, the cruise speed under autopilot is limited to 5 miles over. Sometimes I've noticed it limited to the speed limit. Sometimes it's 5 miles over the speed limit. Sometimes it's the speed limit. And again, that's just on local roads. Don't know exactly how it determines what is a local road and what is a highway. But on highways like this road, you can set your cruise speed to whatever you'd like in autopilot mode. In just cruise mode, not autopilot, you can always set your cruise control speed to whatever you would like. It's just when you engage the autopilot. Now here we're going to have to turn on my blinker. Car slowed down and cut in nice and cleanly. Sometimes when you cut in, now here it won't be able to make the turn, so I'm going to have to turn off autopilot. Cruise is still on, and I'm probably going to have to set that cruise speed down, so I'm going to drop it down, and we're going to go through a toll booth here. So I'm going to have my cruise speed here set pretty low to 35, and we'll watch to see if and how. Let's just up it a little bit here to get through. Let's just see what happens when I engage autopilot. If that cruise, it's currently set to 50, we'll see if that cruise speed changes to sense the road that I'm going to be getting on here. So I'm going to use my accelerator to just get up to a certain speed, get into a lane, and hit autopilot. Nope, didn't. But sometimes it did, so I'm going to walk it up to 75, which is my normal cruise speed for this road. We're going to be on this road for maybe 20 minutes, and the car just does a great job. I'm going to put my blinker on, past this truck. The car just does a great job on highways. I will have to touch the steering wheel every once in a while because it does want you to acknowledge that you're not sleeping from time to time, but it does a perfect, probably better than a human at staying in the center of your lane. I'm gonna blinker back over. there's some interesting diagrams on the Tesla website showing how more accurate the Tesla is at staying in the center of your lane than a human is. I think they monitor manual driving versus autopilot, and the humans traverse the width of the lane much more than the autopilot. The autopilot is able to just constantly keep you in the centermost portion of the lane. And so it really helps not only you, but many other drivers not having someone slide side to side in a lane. People driving or passing a person like that, you never know whether they're being distracted or not. Whereas the Tesla in autopilot, like I am now, is going to be rock solid in the center of the lane. The car's going a little slow, so I'm going to hit the blinker. As soon as you hit the blinker, the car accelerates immediately as long as your cruise speed is set higher than what you're going at. So I felt as soon as I hit the blinker a quick acceleration as it changed lanes. Now here we have a car passing us. And I don't know if you noticed, we were pulling in front of us. Car slowed down there for a second. I think he's trying to see what we're doing. Yeah, I think he was fascinated by us not driving, and so he's probably going to follow us and see what's going on. So we're doing a large turn here. Again, it's staying picture perfect in the center of the lane. Now you can see that blinking I think it occurs more often on turns. So when you get into a turn, your car, sometimes an autopilot, will want to acknowledge that you're still watching the road. And most times when I'm driving in autopilot, I will keep my feet won't be on the gas or brake, but my hands will be sort of just positioned like this to be ready to take over control. My eyes are always, forward, watching the road. So I sort of watch the car drive and am in a position to quickly take over control. But my feet clearly are not on the pedals. My feet are rarely actually on the pedals because I use the cruise control a lot, even on a lot of side roads. And so I steer quite often on local roads, but not on highways. So highway driving is sort of boring, but sometimes I'll check my email, sometimes I'll look over, and I think just generally in changing stations or looking at your navigation, you're really just safer than most drivers, in that this car, the Tesla, will stay rock solid in the center of your lane while you might be distracted with talking on the phone or changing radio stations, any kind of simple distraction that all drivers perform on a regular basis while they're driving. The Tesla is just, I think it can be proven to be a much more safer experience because it will maintain you in your lane and at a safe distance from the cars in front of you and behind you. So I think we've got one more intersection to go. Car's doing great. I don't always stay in the left lane, and I left a little late today, so I'm not hitting bump and go traffic. This intersection a lot of time will be dead stop, bumper to bumper traffic. Again, it's asking me to grab. If you don't respond to that blinking light, I think after it starts blinking, it will start beeping. If you don't respond, I think you get 3 tries, 3 strikes, and you're out, and Autopilot will be disengaged permanently until you stop and put the car in park and start up again. So and that all came in, I believe, the 7.0 update, or maybe it was the 8.0 update. Let's see. I think it was the 8.0 update. Put much more obvious indication that the car wants you to just touch the wheel. And so when it does blink like that, or the smaller message comes up to steer the car, you simply need to just touch the wheel and wiggle it. Just a very slight wiggle to the wheel will let the car know that you're alive and you're there. And previous to 8.0 update, you weren't asked to do that quite often. Plus, the message was just a simple little message along the bottom of the screen. Now, it appears that you're asked to acknowledge that you're alive more often, and the whole screen blinks so that you see that you're being asked to do it. I'm going to turn my blinker on, get into the right lane. We're going to be exiting soon. Plus, there's a truck in front of me. Now, on that blinker, it didn't really accelerate. It sort of just did a slow turn. And then after it saw that there was nothing in front of us, it started speeding up to my cruise speed of 75. Sometimes when you change lanes, you get a abrupt acceleration as soon as it starts the turn of the lane. I'm not sure why it didn't do it in that instance compared to most other lane change operations. So we've been on Autopilot for the length of this turnpike ride. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to go to the next interchange. Sometimes I get off at this one coming up, but traffic seems to be pretty good here, so we'll take it all the way to the Plymouth Meeting interchange. Here we have a little bit of traffic coming, so we're at the 75 cruise, but as soon as we get closer to this truck, it starts slowing down, as you can see. And I currently have, let's see what I have. I have 3 car lengths set, and it's going to try to keep a 3 car length distance. I believe that car length distance does adapt to the speed that you're traveling. So 3 car lengths at 75 or 60 miles an hour. It's going to be one thing. I'm going to change lanes here again. and notice that it reads the speed limit signs. So we just passed a 70-mile speed limit, and it constantly is showing you the speed limit on the road. What's pretty interesting is that when you're on a road where a new speed limit is new speed limit sign where the speed is being changed, it doesn't acknowledge that speed until you actually pass the sign. So you visually see the speed limit sign 100, 200 yards in front of you, but it doesn't indicate that speed until you literally pass the speed limit sign. I'll see if I can show you that maybe coming up. So we've got a little ways to go yet just to get off the main turnpike, and again, Autopilot's been on this whole time driving. So we're approaching our exit here. And I think we can actually get into a lane here that is going to exit, staying in Autopilot. And then I'm going to slow down our speed and see if Autopilot can do a little bit of this exit. I'm going to ratchet down my it's wobbling here. I don't think it's going to make this turn. Oops, it did. Made that turn by itself. It does slow down by itself on exit ramps. Let's see if it can make this turn. Yeah, it asked me to hold the steering wheel, but it's still steering. And it's doing this by itself in Autopilot. Definitely had to slow it down. It wouldn't have been able to do that at the speed. Here's another tough turn. Oh, did it all. It's doing it by itself. Now we lose signs. So it probably will stay to the left. Notice how it stays to the left there, and I just took over. And we're just driving normally now. Sometimes you can see it's not allowing me to do Autopilot here until it can pick up road signs. It probably will engage. There it goes. But I'm on a small little road ramp here, so I'll just drive normally. I could engage it here, but don't need to. I'm going to be making a right turn up here, and it's really not marked, but everybody seems to do it. So we'll just sneak in here. I can't tell if this is marked or not. No, it's not. But everyone does it, so we will do it. Now here's a nicely marked road. We can engage it. There's a red light coming up. And so, since there's cars in front of us, it will stop by itself. Autopilot engaged, and then it'll speed up by itself. So it did all of that by itself. I'm going to speed up our speed a little bit. It doesn't whatever speed you're at when you turn on Autopilot, it's going to just stay at that speed. Let's see if it can actually change lanes here. I think because maybe it's a white line, it won't change lanes. I'm going to take over. We've got the cruise control on. Let's see if we get through this intersection. It did not touch the gas pedal or brake. Cruise control was on. It's going to let me turn it on here. This is not the best road to use it on, but let's see how it does. It's a pretty big turn coming up here to the left with not the best of markings, so I have a feeling it's not going to do it, and it didn't. It wanted to go straight there, so I took over. And we have to make a strange turn up here, so we're just driving normally. No cruise, no autopilot. Stop, I have to hit the brake. I'm going to jump in front of this car here. Acceleration is just great on the car. I've owned the Porsche 911, the Mercedes SL, some pretty nice cars, and this car definitely has the best acceleration.